Hello, this is Paul Harris for Mining Journal. Today I'm joined by Clive Johnson, President and CEO of B2Gold. Good morning, Clive. How are you today?
Good, Paul. Nice to be with you.
Thank you. B2Gold has just reported its second quarter financial results, and you've had a great quarter and a record quarter in many respects. What were the real standout highlights for you?
Yeah, it was another excellent quarter, and I think particularly when you look at the environment we're in today, having gone through or going through and dealing with COVID, we performed very well at all three mines, and I think it's a real tribute to our team, our incredible teams of people we have at the mines, our executive team. I think a lot of it's about our experience, so many years of running international mines. And I like to think it's also a reflection of the success of our corporate culture. When you treat people with fairness, respect, and transparency, as we always try to do, you build some good relationships. So I think we were able to continue to operate because we had a real sense of trust between ourselves, our employees, and the governments in the countries that we work in. So all of us had one thing in common, which was we wanted to keep mining if we could do it safely and responsibly. So it's been a challenging time, but we've come through it extremely well, I think, because of those factors. And I can't say enough about the governments in the countries that we work in and our employees who just stepped up and have done an extraordinary job. And we planned ahead well. We planned early for COVID. We took it very seriously early on. And I think that's one of the reasons we performed so well. So that enabled us to have a record quarter of producing 240,000 ounces of gold. And our costs are very low. Our operating costs were $385 an ounce, and all-in sustaining cost per ounce gold was a little over $700. So those are beats from our budgets, which is always would be a great accomplishment. But I think, given the circumstances we've been and the challenges that we faced, it's quite extraordinary. So we're very pleased with that. And our long-term strategy is clearly paying off, which has been to build gold mines, quality gold mines and projects, even at a time when it was unpopular, such as the last 5 years. So we're in tremendous shape today, and the quarter was a roaring success. We continue to expect more. We're still on our guidance for the year, which is going to be right around 1 million ounces of gold consolidated basis, and our all-in sustaining costs are going to be somewhere around $800 or less than $800 an ounce. So a great, another really strong quarter at a challenging time.
Yeah, I mean, being on track for guidance is quite an achievement, given that a lot of your peers and competitors are not able to do that. You're also generating a lot of cash at the moment, and a couple of quarters ago you started paying a dividend, and now you're doubling the dividend. What is going to be your dividend policy going forward?
Right, as you said, we introduced the dividend in the fourth quarter of last year. 1 cent a share, and then doubled it to 2 cents a share. And we've now announced that we're doubling that again to 4 cents a share. And that gives about a 2.2% yield to our shareholders, which is one of the higher ones in yields in terms of the gold space. So, and that's something that we aspired to for quite a long time. You'll remember we created B2Gold from zero about 12 years ago now. So it's been quite an extraordinary story of successful growth and production. But the idea was always to build a company where we could continue to grow the company by using cash flow from producing gold, but also take some of that cash flow towards continued growth, exploration, development, but some of it to reward our shareholders. So that's what the dividends were able to do. Going forward, some companies have set their dividend up as a percentage of free cash flow. We really haven't gone there yet because we're looking to say what are our cash requirements going forward into next year. There's a very good chance we expect to make a positive decision to go forward with our partner AngloGold Ashanti and build the Gramalote mine in Colombia, which we would be looking to fund our share of the capital for that. It's a really attractive project. We like the looks of it a lot. We'll have a final feasibility study done in the first quarter of next year. So we could clearly fund our share of capital, which is estimated to be total $900 million. So our share would be about $450 million US to build a mine that could produce over 400,000 ounces of gold a year, with so far pretty low projected costs at around $650 all sustaining cost an ounce, according to the most recent study that we put out. We could clearly, with the amount of cash we're generating, we're looking at generating somewhere around $900 million US this year in cash from operations. If gold stays anywhere near where it is today, we're looking at over $2.5 billion over the next 2.5 years. And we're basically net cash positive now, so virtually debt free. So clearly we could use our cash flow a portion of our capital to build Gramalote. So we're going to be looking at the dividend policy going forward. The idea, of course, is to maintain it and increase it over time. And we'll be looking into next year to see how we're looking at allocating our cash from operations.
Thank you. And it's not just your shareholders that are benefiting from your success. And I want to talk a little bit about the Black Rhino initiative, whereby the company has donated some gold to produce gold bars, specialist gold bars. Can you tell me a little bit about why the company is engaging in this philanthropic activity?
Sure. Yeah, part of our culture from day one has been that it's very important to mining companies to give back. And that was very much the culture and the approach at B2Gold for many years, our former company, and then clearly carried on into B2Gold. So we're very proud of our track record in CSR and ESG, and I think we're on the cutting edge in the industry of the kind of things that we do. And there's some great stuff on our website for people that are interested to look at some of the extraordinary programs we have that are helping the communities and the people in the countries in which we work. But it's all about creating sustainable jobs and creating, being good corporate citizens. Everybody should win and when you're going to a country and you're building gold mines. So I first got introduced to the Save the Rhino Trust about 3 years ago, I guess. My wife and myself and some of our directors flew into northern Namibia to the Rhino camp and stayed there and saw this incredible work that these people are doing on foot, tracking the rhinos up and down these steep hills in incredibly challenging climate to protect the rhinos. And I was intrigued by that. And I personally got involved in financially donating something to them. And B2Gold Namibia is led by Mark Daw, who's a wonderful guy and a real environmentalist in his own right, as well as a great managing director for B2Gold Namibia. So someone in Mark's group came up with the idea that what about if we could take some gold from Namibia and use that gold to create gold bars and sell the gold bars and to help save the black rhino. So, I thought what a great idea. So we donated 1,000 ounces of gold from the Fekola mine in Namibia and used that gold to make beautiful gold bars and have started to sell those gold bars. So 1,000 ounces, well, today that's $1.9 million US. So it's a tremendous and a tremendous thing for the Save the Rhino Trust, and they're using those funds. And what turns out now to be a critical time with COVID for what it's done to tourism, what it's done to, therefore, tourism is a way of protecting animals from poaching to some extent because of the amount of vehicles out there. It's a positive force in that regard. So without the tourism going on, the rhinos were even more vulnerable to potential poaching. So the timing's excellent. The money's being used to support the Rhino Trust and the people that do this work, but also the communities that support looking to save the rhino. So it's not only benefiting the rhino and looking to save this endangered species by monitoring the rhinos carefully and protecting them, but it's also helping the communities that do such great work in saving the rhino. And ultimately, as Namibia comes back, as all these countries come back with tourism, this will be a very positive factor going forward. So, I look at it as kind of a creative philanthropic conservation and philanthropy combined. Basically, you're taking gold that was deposited some 4 billion years ago in Namibia, and you're taking that gold and you're creating gold bars to help save an animal that's been roaming Namibia for 50 million years. So it's got some cool historical connotations to it as well. So that's one of the things we've done there. These bars are available for sale through our website, but also on Kitco. And they're going really well. So for people that want to own a bit of gold, but it's a special, one-of-a-kind, beautiful gold bar depicting the rhino on the gold bar. And we're selling them at a 15% premium to the spot gold price. And that premium will allow us to continue to produce more bars or different bars and potentially even gold coins. So this will carry on in perpetuity, which is another exciting aspect.
Well, yeah, so 15% premium, current gold prices, you're generating even more money for the project than I imagine you originally anticipated. They're produced in sort of half kilo, 1 ounce and half ounce denominations, and I understand 2 of those sizes have already sold out. So are you thinking of doing a second edition?
Yeah, we're looking into it. In fact, we're in discussions with the government of Namibia about creating a coin, a 1 ounce rhino gold coin, which would be, if the Namibian government gets on board, which I think they will, this will be the official gold currency for Namibia, such as the Canadian maple leaf, or the the South African Crew Grant. So that's a pretty exciting potential next step for this pretty cool project.
Okay, so shareholders are getting money, the rhinos are getting money, and you're also going to plan on giving money back to the banks. You're looking to clear your $420-30 million debt later this quarter, I understand.
Yeah, we're in tremendously strong shape financially because of not just the gold price, because of our low cost of production as well. This is the second leg of our strategy. When we were looking to finance the Fekola mine, which is our largest mine in Mali, producing this year 600,000 ounces of gold, we were looking to finance Fekola 3-4 years ago. Growing a gold mining company and building gold mines was not popular at all. It was a very contrarian move given the failings of the industry before. So we didn't really want to dilute our shareholders to build the Fekola mine. So we used cash from our other operations, and we used some debt with a great bunch of banks, and we syndicate of banks. We have a revolving corporate facility, which is available for up to $600 million. So we used that facility. So that way we didn't dilute our shareholders. And use debt and our cash from operations to build Fekola. Fekola's been an extraordinary success. So now we're able to fully pay back the banks. We're sitting at over $650 million in cash now, and we owe the banks about $420 million. We're going to be paying that back within the third quarter. So we'll, apart from some Caterpillar long-term mining vehicle leases, we will be debt free, which is an extraordinary place to be. So our free cash flow will continue to grow and build over time here. But this is a wonderful place to be in the gold space, not only to be as profitable as we are, but also to be debt free. And it gives us the ability to focus on Gramalote and other things in our pipeline to continue to grow our production profile.
Well, yes, I mean, that puts you in a relatively unique position amongst the other senior gold producers. The majority of them have a lot of debt. There's very few that have low debt or no debt. So that will, I imagine, really boost your competitive position vis-a-vis the other companies in the senior gold producer bracket.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. There is some M&A activity happening in the gold space. I think you'll probably see more of that. But I think that it'd be interesting to see where we go, because with gold prices now at record highs, I hope the industry continues to use some discipline in terms of growth, because 10 years ago when gold was previously at its all-time highs, frankly, we saw some pretty reckless behavior in terms of acquisitions and overpaying for things. And it was the attitude amongst many producers then was it was growth at any cost. It didn't really matter about economics, etc. And that lost investors billions of dollars, not because gold fell. The primary reason was, frankly, some poor decisions and some bad management. So I'm hopeful that the industry's learned. I think the industry's in much better shape. There's fewer companies that are better run, less companies better run, which is a good thing. I think you'll see some M&A, but we're in the enviable position of, we did our deals and built our mines when very few were doing it over the last 10 years, from zero production to now 1 million ounces a year. So we did the heavy lifting when it was unpopular, when it was contrarian to be acquiring deposits and building gold mines. So we're in a position today where I'm looking to our pipeline first and foremost. We're not going to start overpaying for ounces. We never have. We're not going to start now. The cheapest ounces will always be the ones you find, and we have one of the best gold exploration teams in the world. So we'll continue exploration around our sites and with other exploration initiatives worldwide. But also we've got Gramalote in the pipeline, as I mentioned. We've also got a tremendous exploration upside potential around Fekola, where we continue to make new discoveries. So we think within the pipeline of projects we have a lot of potential growth without having to go out and compete with companies now that need growth more than we do. So it's going to get more expensive now to buy ounces of gold. It'll be interesting to see where we go. We're definitely going to be disciplined. We always have been, and we'll continue to look to grow through our development pipeline and through exploration. Now, if the right acquisition opportunity comes along, we'll have a look at that. But I think the days of the big premiums that we saw 10 years ago, massive premiums for companies paying to buy other companies, I think those days are behind us. I hope that we don't go back to some of the silly season we saw before. It's not good for investors.
The company's got a healthy organic growth pipeline. So what kind of M&A deal would be of interest to B2Gold? You thinking more the model, the sort of Barrick Randgold, zero premium, merger of equal kind of thing?
Yeah, I think you're going to probably see more of that. Right now, I think for us, we're always have an ear to the ground to who's doing what possible scenarios are there out there. If there was opportunities where companies aren't getting the same kind of rating that we're getting, valuations that we're getting, then there might be some interesting possibilities to grow that way. But frankly, there's very few good development projects out there today because of the lack of exploration in the world in the last 10 to 15 years of gold exploration. So there's going to be some real competition for development projects. And frankly, we're unlikely to win a bidding war because we're not desperate by any means. In terms of other producers, if the right deal comes along where we can grow the company, maintain our corporate culture, and grow the company through accretive acquisitions by combining with someone, we'd look at the possibilities. But that's not a driving force for us. We're very happy where we sit and looking very much forward to the future with the assets we have. And also, we're doing things like exploring in Uzbekistan, which is a country that has huge exploration upside potential. And, don't forget the history of BIMA and B2Gold, as we were both born of exploration, both companies. We're very good at exploration as well as the other things we do. But the cheapest ounces are always the ones you find. So let's get out there as well.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about some more near-term milestones. You're currently expanding Fekola, and I understand the exploration around Fekola is continuing to deliver good results. So there's still potentially quite a lot more to do there.
Yeah, Fekola's been an extraordinary success. When we acquired Papillon in an accretive deal for $500 million US 4 or 5 years ago with no competition, which is quite remarkable when you look at what Papillon had done and what Fekola was and is. It was 4 million ounces then, and it's basically in resources, it's about 8 million ounces now and continues to grow. That's why we've expanded it twice since we built it. But by overbuilding what we originally built, because we did believe in the exploration upside, we've been able to expand it twice at very low cost. And that's one of our keys to success, is the ability to have the vision to look at a deposit and say, well, are we building the right size mill? Is there exploration potential? Could this get bigger? So the last thing you want to do is build a mill and then 5 years later, when you find more gold, regret the size of the mill. So that's one of I think one of the important things we do strategically. So we've had great success in finding more gold at Fekola, and it continues. We have a new zone called Cardinal, which is actually about 500 meters west of the Fekola deposit, where we're getting some very good recent drill results indicating another potential deposit there, very close to Fekola, that could impact Fekola's mine life not only, but could potentially supply some feed within a couple of years to further feed the Fekola mill and potentially add to the production profile. Additionally, 20 kilometers away, there's an area called the Anaconda area, which has got, we always knew it had numerous targets for additional gold deposits. We got some great results there, both in the shallow, weathered saprolite zone that goes down to 50 meters from surface over a very large area. It's about 1 million ounces there, or actually about 1 million ounces in resources there. Low grade, but of interest because it's heavily weathered material, which can be cheaply mined. But below that is really the important thing, and we're starting to see some really good intercepts in the sulfide below this weathered cap, which is what we hope to see. So are there other Fekola type structures, pipes that have brought this mineralization up to the surface? We're starting to get some encouraging results. It's early days, but we think the potential for additional Fekola type deposits is very clear. So hence the focus there. So Cardinal we're drilling now because of its near-term importance, potentially, and then we'll be back to major drilling on the Anaconda area over the next few months as well. So I think the Fekola story is only partly written, and it's a great story so far.
Excellent. You've mentioned a couple of times about the Gramalote project, where first quarter next year you'll be delivering a feasibility study. Before that, later this year, I understand there's a resource update coming out. With gold prices where they are, it must be a no-brainer to build and put that project into production. When do you think you'll be in a position to make a decision on that?
Well, we're looking at final feasibility study, as I think I mentioned, the first quarter of next year. What we're doing right now is infill drilling. This is a very advanced project in terms of the work that's been done towards feasibility, with the one exception, which was we needed to do more infill drilling to turn the inferred resources into indicated, which we're doing right now. We're almost done. And that will generate a new geologic resource, and that will go into the feasibility study. But all the metallurgical work, the engineering, all the other work has largely been done. We're well ahead on that in that regard. So we're not expecting any surprises in infill drilling. That's a fairly homogeneous low-grade ore body. So the drilling so far seems to be giving us what we expected to see and turning it all into indicated resource. So we're looking at the feasibility study at the end of the first quarter of next year, followed very quickly, I would hope, by a development decision. But we liked the economics and thought it was interesting at $1,350 gold. for Gramalote, the potential to produce over 400,000 ounces out of the gate a year, and all the sustaining costs based on the PEA that we released last year were estimated at around $650 an ounce. So a very attractive project at $1,350, $1,500 gold. If you start running it at $1,800 or $1,900 gold, obviously this is a project that should get built and can be very profitable mine for ourselves and our partners, AngloGold Ashanti. So we're close to, not far away from a decision point, and we're not expecting any surprises from this infill drilling. So it should be a go, and we do have a permit. The government of Colombia is extremely supportive of mining, and also the local government. We're in Antioquia, which is the historic mining region in Colombia. The local government is very supportive as well. And the question we get asked all the time when we're down there is, when are you going to start building this mine? So soon we'll be able to hopefully answer that with a yes.
And a key aspect of sort of re-energizing the Gramalote project and moving forward to feasibility, I understand, was your relationship with the former head CEO of AngloGold Ashanti, who recently resigned. Will that create, the new leadership, will that create any potential issues in making that production decision, or will that potentially give B2 the opportunity to obtain 100% of the project?
Well, it's obviously up to AngloGold Ashanti where their decisions going forward, but I'm not expecting any change. At the end of the day, they've got a strong technical team that's been working with very well, actually, in terms of advancing Gramalote as his operator, but also working closely with the joint venture management committee. That's gone very well. I don't see that changing, and I think that AGA has expressed an interest so far to see Gramalote go forward. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, they're looking to grow their company as well. In this case, they don't have to do the heavy lifting. We're going to build it. So we'll see what happens. But if AGA decides not to participate in raising the money or going into development to build it, if they decide not to participate, there's a provision in our agreement where we have the right to buy them out based on the economics and the feasibility study at fair market value. So they can't stand in the way of the development of the project, nor could we if they wanted to go ahead and we didn't, which I think is fair in a 50-50 JV. So at the end of the day, if AGA decided that they didn't want to carry on, we could purchase their 50% and build it ourselves. We're going to build it anyway, but we'd own 100% of it, or we could bring in another partner in some kind of a structured deal. There's no doubt there'd be a long list of companies that I think would really be keen to partner up with us, given our track record of construction success on a really good deposit. So I think looking forward, I'm expecting Gramalote gets built. AGA, we're happy with them as a partner, and happy to continue on the joint venture. If they decide otherwise, I'm pretty sure there's ways to advance the project, which should happen, and I expect it will.
Excellent. Thank you, Clive. It sounds like you've got a lot of good things on the pipeline, a lot of good things to come. Congratulations on the second quarter. Look forward to speaking with you again at some point in the future.
Clive. Hey, Paul, thanks. I enjoyed our conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Clive Johnson, President and CEO of B2Gold. And